Good morning and welcome to Radio Friends on Friday, May the 10th. We're going into Mother's Day weekend. Larry Brown is with us.
Good morning.
Stories and songs. And what do you got for us today?
Well, I want to do a song, but we're going to have to talk about the history of this song first.
All right.
And because it is related to mother's issues.
Okay. So this is Mother's Day weekend. You have a song that is related to mother's issues.
Correct.
So let's talk about them.
Well, at the turn of the 20th century, 1900, Lawrence, Massachusetts was the center of the textile industry for the United States. In fact, at that time, nearly 25% of all woolen cloth came out of the mills in Lawrence, Massachusetts, and then other mills scattered around Massachusetts. But the working conditions were horrible. The primary employees were women and children, and they would work 60 hours a week, typically, for as little at that time as $8 or $9 a week. And the housing for them was horrible, horrendous. Infant mortality rates were high with families employed. And the workers themselves, women who worked there, had an average lifespan of 39 years. Childhood mortality among families who worked in the mills was 50%. And by 1912, actually January 1912, the state of Massachusetts had passed a law reducing the hours down to 56 hours a week, but they also cut wages. And so there was a strike. There was various labor unions involved. Probably the primary instigator was the International Workers of the World, who started a walkout. And so the women then in January started just not going to the mills. Mm-hmm. And this strike spread then to other mills around the state, eventually to across the country. Well, there was a poem written the year before by James Oppenheim called Bread and Roses. And someone had signs in the strike that said, "Give us bread, but give us roses," which inspired then Upton Sinclair in 1915 to write about that. And later in history, this strike began to be referred as the Bread and Roses strike, or sometimes it was called the Three Loaves strike. Now, it resulted in lowering of hours and raising of wages for a while. They wanted to get, imagine this, down to 54 hours a week and wanted a 15% raise in wages. They achieved some things, but later years they lost it. But that strike did start a wave of...
Which made a change.
Oh, it made a change.
A big change.
Particularly with child labor, because they were employing children, early adolescents in the factories, working those same hours, that kind of thing too. So this was the song that was attached to the poem. Caroline... now I've lost the last name. But anyway, some musicians put together this music.
And the name of it is?
Bread and Roses.
All right. So we'll call it a song for Mother's Day.
Yes.
Bread and Roses with Larry Brown.
You'll catch the references to the mothers. So. As we go marching, marching in the beauty of the day, a million darkened kitchens and 1,000 mill lots gray are touched by all the radiance that a sudden sun discloses, and the people hear us singing, bread and roses, bread and roses. As we go marching, marching, we battle too for men, for they are mother's children, and we mother them again. Hearts starve as well as bodies. Give us bread and give us roses. As we go marching, marching, unnumbered women dead cry through our singing their ancient call for bread. Small art and love and beauty, their drudging lives new. Yes, it is bread we fight for, but we fight for roses too. As we go marching, marching, we bring the greater days. For the rising of the women mean the rising of the race. No more the drudge and idler tend the toil while one reposes, but a sharing of life's glory, bread and roses, bread and roses, a sharing of life's glory, bread and roses, bread and roses.
That is very pretty, Larry. Bread and roses.
Bread and roses.
Yeah. So that originally was a poem written when?
The year before the strike, by James Oppenheim, and apparently someone had carried the sign, "Give us bread and roses," which was picked up by somebody else, and as I later said, Upton Sinclair wrote it, and it began to be known as the Bread and Roses strike. But again, that commentary that as working women, and most of them mothers, needing not only subsistence, but recognition.
Right.
They were women, too.
Right.
So hence the two metaphors.
So it's a tribute to all mothers on this Mother's Day weekend.
All mothers.
Yeah.
Particularly working mothers, that is, mothers who work for pay outside the home.
Which nowadays is almost every mom
Yes.
is working. I remember when I was growing up, I was very fortunate. My mother did not have to go out of the house. She was mom at home and was there when I came home. But now many women today do not have that same ability to stay home.
And again, in historical periods of time, too, that was the case.
Right.
Yeah.
If people want your music and want your songs or your stories, they can contact you by
brownstory@hotmail.com.
brownstory@hotmail.com, or your website is?
Website's not currently up, so
It's not.
I have to go to the emails.
Okay. Go to email. He'll answer your email.
I will.
Thank you, Larry Brown. Good to have you.
Thank you.
Monday, MU Healthcare. We're going to talk about May being Skin Cancer Awareness Month, and the Salvation Army. Something you'd like to hear or see, drop me an email. That's pepperp@missouri.edu. And thank you, and have a good weekend. Happy Mother's Day.